Welcome back to Real Extra Commentary. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Rachel, the girl who loves the stars but refuses to leave the atmosphere because I'm claustrophobic.
And I'm Poonam. My name literally means a night illumined by the full moon. So I guess you could say staring lovingly at the night sky comes pretty naturally to me. Though perhaps I lean a little bit more into the astrology side of things than the astronomy side of things.
If you haven't guessed it yet, we're talking about Project Hail Mary. So I'm a huge space nerd. I stare at the moon till my neck hurts. I point out planets in the sky to total strangers. And I track rocket launches like people track the Kardashians. And some of my favorite movies of all time are all about space and space travel. Star Wars, Interstellar, Contact, just to name a few.
And I really like Ryan Gosling.
Well, let's get into it.
This is Real Extra Commentary.
Okay, spoilers are on the table, people. Imagine waking up from a coma with total amnesia, only to find out you're on a spaceship millions of miles from Earth, and your crewmates, including the actual pilot, are, well, very dead. That's the life of Rylan Grace, former molecular biologist turned middle school teacher, played perfectly by Ryan Gosling.
As his memory slowly returns, he realizes he's on a suicide mission to a distant star called Tau Ceti to discover the means of stopping a star-eating microbe called astrophage from dimming the sun to the point of extinction. And then, arguably the best part of the movie, he meets Rocky, an alien engineer from another star system facing the exact same apocalypse.
And that is where the magic happens. It's basically two nerdy scientists from different worlds trying to save their homes with nothing but math, a translate-o-matic, and the power of a fist bump. It's a beautiful story about bravery and how friendship doesn't need a common language, it just needs a common goal. And a lot of amaze energy. I am officially obsessed.
And I am not. Sorry, Rachel. I thought it was, okay. It was fun, but a little problematic. Let's start with what works, though. Ryan Gosling.
Yes. Agreed. I personally think he gave us a master class in acting in this movie. Well, one, because he was alone for most of it. Well, the first half of it. And the way he communicated without having to say much was brilliant. Like when he sees the alien ship, Rocky's ship, out in space for the first time, the look on his face is like everything every one of us would feel. We'd be like, oh, what? No, shit. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? Let's leave.
Yeah, it was very honest, very authentic. Like, it was funny without feeling like he was trying to be funny.
I mean, he's great as an actor. I love him in general from pretty much everything I've seen him in. He always gives a bit of a warmth to the character and always makes me laugh and makes me cry. I definitely cried in this movie from some of his reactions. But I also think he does deadpan really good.
Yeah, I
Punchy.
get that. Yeah, like he hits the comedy and like the one-liners really well, really effortlessly. I've been a huge Ryan Gosling fan from when we were kids. Like since he did like Breaker High and like Young Hercules before Ryan Gosling was Ryan Gosling. And I really think he's only gotten better with time. I think a lot of my like big issues is really more with Dr. Rylan Grace. I think the character is kind of unlikable. He's kind of like a lovable loser type character. And I think he plays that really, really well. But yeah, I just didn't really like Dr. Grace. I think the cowardliness of the character kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth, and I didn't really buy his journey from that scaredy cat to like this full on true hero. I just I just didn't buy it. Like, people don't change that much.
His character was so deeply flawed, and they foreshadowed his, like, not being there by his own volition quite a bit, because he was always a bit of a scaredy cat. The thing that I noticed when he was, like, on the ship versus back in, like, his flashbacks is he definitely had more of a hero energy, brave energy, because he forgot that he was not there because he
Hmm.
chose it. Did you get that at all? Did you get a difference between Ryan on the ship before and Ryan back in the flashbacks? Like, did it feel like two different people?
I didn't really think about it in the way that you're kind of describing it. It didn't feel like two different people. It just felt like, someone who knows what location they're in and someone who's like, who am I? How'd I get here? But I didn't get any more hero energy. In fact, the opening moments, like where he like wakes up and everyone's dead, I kind of didn't like it. I was like, is this supposed to make me like the character? Because I don't right now. I guess it was like his incompetence and fear. Like, I was just immediately turned off. Like, again, acting wise, brilliant. But I was just like, am I supposed to like him or not? Because I don't like him right now.
Really? Even from the get-go?
From the get-go, like the opening shots of him, like I was just like, okay, he wakes up and then he's kind of being like goofy and funny and trying to get out of the thing, when he like rolls off the table and I was like, okay. I don't know, it just felt like he wasn't like taking things seriously enough.
I think the book, because I just started reading the book, does a lot better job of explaining right away that he has no fucking idea where he is, what's happening, who he is. He thinks he's waking up in a hospital and coming out of a coma after like 4 years or something of complete like nothingness. He doesn't get it at all. He sees just this robot in his face where he's like, "Oh my God, holy shit, get away from me." My God. And I wonder, since I had read part of the book, if that helped with some of that. Like, it was definitely goofy. He definitely played up the physical comedy of it. But I wonder if the way I saw it in him, like being like, "What is happening? There's a robot in my face. Get the fuck away from me!" Like 2 + 2, no, go go away. Made any sort of difference in that like dick energy, where it was just like, I'd be a dick too. I'm a dick sometimes when I wake up after 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, no, I get it. I understand what they were trying to elicit from me, but it
Didn't
didn't
work.
work. Yeah. I started to understand a little bit more with some of the flashbacks and stuff as it happened. And of course, there were like funny moments, the drinking all the vodka and stuff, which felt really like natural. You're like, yeah, I'm totally fucked right now. So, yep, just gonna get
Getting
drunk.
drunk.
Um, but we're supposed to be talking about Ryan's acting, and his acting was phenomenal.
Yes.
Even if I didn't like the character, I thought his grasp
Portrayal?
of the character, his interpretation of the character was great. And I also read something about when he was doing the solo stuff, he really like wanted something to act off of. So they used a mop and they named the mop Moppy Ringwald, which I thought was adorable because Punny Poonam. They're always telling us when we, like all actors, when we do self-tapes or everything, how important it is to have a reader or like a really specific person that you think you're talking to or like a specific eyeline or whatever. And it's so important because it's where your energy is going. And I love that even someone who is Ryan fucking Gosling also needs a Moppy Ringwald to place his focus, his attention, his energy. And it's a very real thing. Like, we all kind of do it. And so I really loved that aspect of things.
And they kept it in the movie.
Oh, right. Moppy
Uh,
Ringwald has a little cameo, right?
Yeah, as a little cameo because they apparently loved it so much, the directors, that they're like, all right. We had a dancing scene together and
Cute.
uh, and we got to see Moppy Ringwald. But that is such a good idea. And it makes sense. I think that it's got to be hard to act off of nothing, being given nothing, just having done self-tapes with my computer reading the lines to me. It's different. It's different.
Yeah, I feel like people get a more authentic performance when they have somewhere to push their energy, whether it's an inanimate object or even just a very specific eyeline that you can use your imagination and create something with. But if you can't put your energy somewhere, it just doesn't land. So yeah, that was really cool.
Should we pivot to Sandra?
Sure. Oh,
We'll just start off by saying she was amazing. Sandra Hüller as Eva Strass.
she was probably my favorite character. Loved her. Loved her, loved her, loved her. Like, as soon as I saw her come on, I was like, yes. Yes. I felt like, again, this is more of a character thing, but of course, the actress did a phenomenal job portraying the character. But I loved how honest the character was. I loved that she has genuine clarity about what needs to be done. She does what needs to be done for the greater good. She does not sway from her mission. She's competent. She's clear. She's determined. And she's just so no nonsense. I just find clarity so delicious. And her deadpan delivery got me every time. She was a great foil for Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, she was like the grounded relief, even though she did have funny moments.
Yeah, I think the comedy just came from the honesty.
Yes, because she did.
Yeah.
She had a very honest. I mean, what would you do in that situation? To save the world, you would have to do everything and anything. Like she would be considered potential villain for this film because of what she does for, or does to Dr. Grace or whatever.
So yeah, I thought that was a shocking choice. Like that truly surprised me when her character basically forces Dr. Grace to go on this mission. He did not want to go. He was not supposed to go, but there was an accident and they didn't have anyone else, and so he had to go. But she gave him the opportunity to make the choice, and being the coward that he is, he said no. And so she had to make the hard decision of being like, well, then you're going to have to go against your will.
Yeah.
And honestly, like that, yeah, you're right. It has a villainesque choice to it.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, like I was like, but the whole planet is at stake. Like so many people and animals and plant, and you're just like, no, thank you. What?
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. Do we have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll stick with Zandra's amazing acting and singing. Oh my
Performance.
gosh, her voice was beautiful.
Yes, and there's a story there.
Tell
That
me.
scene where she's singing karaoke, Sign of the Times, which I thought great song choice.
Yes.
But there is a story. So I read in Entertainment Weekly that Ryan Gosling actually heard Sandra singing on the ship. He heard her singing to herself in a hallway, and he went to the directors and to her. He did ask her, but then he also asked the directors, can we have her sing in this movie? Because her voice is amazing. And they thought about it and were like, "Yeah, okay, yeah." But they didn't have that much time. So they basically were like, do you want to do this? If we do it, we have to do it in 2 days. And she said, I will do it if I can choose the song. And so she actually chose the song because her daughter said it was cool.
Nice.
And then they filmed it a day later. So in a matter of 2 days, he heard her singing. They decided to ask her to get her singing in the show. She found a song. They got the rights because they had to make sure they could get the rights to the song.
Literally going to ask you about that because that is so hard to do and takes so long. But they got the rights in 2 days.
I'm sure they paid a lot of money for it.
Talk about meant to be, though, you know?
Right? And then they filmed it. And they filmed that amazing scene, and she crushed it. And she really did have a good voice.
Like, props to Ryan Gosling for being such a team player and going to bat and being like, let's put her in this. This is so cool. I mean, I think Ryan is one of the producers, right, on this. So I guess it kind of makes sense. But also, I want to be that type of supportive castmate, and I want to be around that type of supportive castmate.
It has this human organic quality to it where he's just like, you're really good at this. You should do this in the film. So you wanna?
I love it.
Ryan and Sandra were not the only actors in it, although at times it kind of felt like it. Yeah, there was a bunch of great supporting characters, cast members in this. We have our crew. We have the funny and dry Ken Leung, who played Yao, the pilot, Commander Liao, Yao, Commander Yao, and then we have Milana Vitrub as Alessa. Weintraub as Alessa. And even though we like find out their fate pretty quickly. I think their brief chemistry with Ryan does make their loss and his loneliness a little bit heavier. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, they were great. I loved all of the crew, those two, and then there were a bunch of other actors there as well with the training and everything. And I thought everyone just held their own really, really well. It was also really great to see Milana Weintraub, who is the AT&T girl. I always am rooting for actors who have like national commercial campaigns. When I see them in like a big movie role or something, I'm like, yes, you're doing the thing that we all really, really want to do. But of course, we need to make money, and booking a national commercial campaign gives lots of money. So I'm also proud of you for that. But also, sometimes you get stuck, and that sucks. Like Flo from Progressive and then the Dell guy. But I'm so glad that that did not happen for Milana Weintraub, and she did an awesome job as this astronaut. She had great accent work, and yeah, I was just really excited to see her, and I was just rooting for her, and I was like, yeah, get it, girl.
Yeah. Good for her.
Good
Good for her.
her.
So I want to give a quick shout out to Lionel Boyce, who played Carl. What's her name? Carl. Who was the government. What government? All of them.
All of them. That was awesome.
He was like the second buddy of the film in the buddy film part of it. He
Mhm.
really added a lot to the scenes where they're learning about the astrophage. So it wasn't just Ryan Gosling talking to himself.
It was great. He was fun and funny and also like no nonsense, but in a different fun way than Sandra's character was. So yeah, that was great. We got to talk about Rocky and the amazing puppetry. Oh my goodness. I have a love-hate relationship with this.
Oh,
So
should we talk about what we love first?
sure. Yes.
Well, as you already mentioned, the puppetry was incredible. So James Ortiz was the lead puppeteer. He actually voiced him as well. He anticipated they were going to use another voiceover actor afterwards, and they ended up loving his voiceover work and his portrayals so much.
Love when
they
that happens. Yes.
kept him. So he was fantastic, but he wasn't alone. There was 5 to 6 other puppeteers. Sometimes there was a few on Rocky at once. There was also puppeteers for very specific Rocky pieces. They had some animatronic pieces. They had obviously some CGI pieces. So yeah, they had about 6 puppeteers working total. So I think it's kind of cool where Rocky came from, who designed him, because he was made by Neil Scanlon, who worked with Jim Henson in his Creature Shop. He's created several other notable Star Wars characters like the Porgs. He is a brilliant puppet designer. So I think the puppetry and the puppet design I really loved. Also, talk about voiceover work, that cameo by Meryl Streep.
Yes, so good. So
Was
good.
it?
He was like, is there anything she can't do or whatever he said?
Yep.
That was amazing.
Which he ad-libbed, apparently.
He ad-libbed that?
Yep.
Oh, that's so good. But is it so true? Because we were all thinking it, right? We were all thinking it. So yeah, it was amazing.
And it was nice. I love that they had the puppetry, like the puppet, that he could act off of something. It wasn't like a ball that he had to act off of. So I did love that. So I think James Ortiz brought a lot to the character and his energy and his feeling. It was a puppet? What? I mean, obviously, Rocky's not real, but when I was watching the movie, he was an alien. He was real. I felt for him, and I felt so much when he sacrifices himself for Grace.
I cried and cried and cried like a maniac in the movie theater. Like the people sitting around me were probably like, what is wrong with that chick? But
Everybody was crying.
bawling my eyes out. Yeah, I mean, Rocky is adorable. His personality is so good. I loved the voice work by James Ortiz. He did a great job of kind of showing the growth, the language growth from just beginning to communicate all the way to like having a pretty strong understanding of the English language. And I thought like the progression felt very natural. I think all of that was really, really good. But I had some problems with Rocky. Not the design in terms of like the execution of the design, but just the concept of the alien. Humans have a really bad track record of murdering, destroying, just completely decimating things that they fear or don't understand. But if something is cute and innocent, then they're like, oh, I'll take you under my wing. But that's the only time that they'll take you under your wing, is if you do not pose a threat. If you're cute and innocent. And so as soon as I saw him, I was just like, really? A puppy-like stone spider? Like, it just pissed me off. We have a white man going out in space, which again, I'm a brown person, so I'm like, colonizer, colonizer, ah! And then, and he sees this creature, and I'm like, but if the creature, not meaning to be scary, but was actually scary, like the aliens in Arrival, I feel like the white man would probably kill him, because that's what white men do. Although Ryland Grace is a coward, so he probably would just run away.
Run
But then the
away.
whole movie wouldn't happen, right? It only happens, the only way this movie would happen is if the animal, like creature, whatever, is cute. And there's just something really frustrating to me about that. I also was really annoyed, like when they started communicating with each other, that Grace just automatically assumed that Rocky was going to learn English and made him learn English instead of him learning Rocky's language. Because, of course, white people always make everyone speak English. And it just pissed me off. Like, it just kept taking me out of the movie. Because it's just like, again? Like, why can't you just learn his language? Like, the only thing he learns is the scraping of his arm thing. And I'm like, what? And like, humans are stupid as fuck. Now we're in outer space and we're still so dumb that we're gonna make someone else learn our language, even though the Iridians are so much smarter and more advanced.
I think you already hit the nail on the head, at least from the way I watched it. It was just easier because he is so advanced. It was clear that Rocky was already understanding some of what Grace Orion was saying to him based on their very rudimentary conversations. It was clear that Rocky was understanding more than Ryan was. So I feel like it was just easier at that point to find the words to communicate. Arrival's great. It does that perfectly. How do you get to the message? Like, what are you doing here? Not you personally, not Joe Alien, but aliens in general. And that's true, all the nuances of language. So maybe they just, again, it's a movie and it's like, suspend your disbelief. We've got to listen to the movie in English, so he's going to learn English. But to your point, that makes sense in terms of just in general. There was a few things that I found not to be realistic and just be frustrating. One of the things I found frustrating was like all the nations of the world are coming together in the beginning. And it was kind of a funny bit when they had all the different people watching Ryland do his experiments on astrophage. And it was clearly a bunch of different countries. And I'm like, that would not happen. I'm sorry. I'm a pessimist because people would already be fighting. They like, solution? No, we're just gonna fight for resources because we can't work together. So I get it, what you're saying with the alien creature. It probably is more realistic where you see an alien creature, like his reaction to run away, very realistic.
Yes. And also the fact that like the first time Rocky like throws that first message and it goes like too fast and then he throws it really slow and Dr. Grace is like, why is it going so much slower? And he's like, because he thinks I'm an idiot. Okay.
Yep.
And I was like, I loved that. That was great.
Yes. Perfect.
But yeah, I mean, and again, like I'm totally aware that art is subjective and a lot of these emotional reactions that I am having to the film is because I'm watching this through the prism of my experience as a non-white, brown immigrant woman or daughter of immigrants. And so these things are things that stick out to me and they matter to me. And I think, traditionally for way too long, we've let people just explain away the reason in that way. I don't want to explain it away. I don't want to be the understanding one and be like, yeah, you can step over everyone else's culture. It's okay. Like, I get it. It's just easier. And it's like, yeah. I'm sick of it. No, don't step over other people's cultures. Like, be humble, learn from other people, and don't be such a jerk all the time.
I don't know. We'll have to ask Andy Weir if we ever talk to him.
I'm Andy Weir, and think about Iridia.
Yes, Eridani.
I was like, that's not the name. Thank you.
Eridani. 40 Eridani AB.
There we go.
That's the name of the planet. 40 Eridani AB, which apparently is not a real planet. Obviously, with like Rockies, we know that. But I did look up. I was like, is that a real planet? Because apparently, the star system is a real star system.
The Tau Ceti?
Well, yeah, Tau Ceti is correct, but
Yeah.
also Eridani, it's 40 Eridani. So actually, the star system is called 40 Eridani.
Okay.
The planet is called 40 Eridani AB. So 40 Eridani AB is a fictional.
It's fictional, but the star system is real.
The star system is real,
Interesting.
as is Tau Ceti.
Yeah, that's the best way to do science fiction, right? The best way to do science fiction and the best way to lie is to start with an element of truth.
Yes, so that's a good pivot to talking about how it was made with practical effects. I loved the practical effects in this movie, so I'm a big space nerd, but I'm also a big filmmaking nerd, and I have opinions when it comes to excessive use of CGI.
You have opinions? Sorry, go ahead.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. And so when I heard that they used mostly practical effects, mostly, not only, there is still VFX in this movie. Obviously, they didn't build a ship in outer space and then go film there, but they used a lot of practical effects, including building the entire interior of the ship and large portions of the exterior of the ship for when he is doing, his walkouts of the ship. They made it in uh, a big black box theater or soundstage. And production designer Charles Wood, should give him a shout out because he was the genius behind that. They built the set in the soundstage with these giant LED volumes. And LED volumes, essentially what they are giant, massive, curved LED screens that can display high resolution images and backgrounds, which can help create the atmosphere and get accurate lighting and allow the actors to really interact with their environment and their surroundings in real time. So it can actually move as a normal background would. And
That's
so
so
they
cool.
actually, yeah, it is. They made a point to use almost no green and blue screens. They did claim originally that they did use no blue or green screens, and then they had to clarify later that no, we had like a couple things that we had to do with VFX, but in terms of the set, nothing was created with a green or a blue screen in terms of what he was actually interacting with, including Rocky, who was a puppet.
That's pretty awesome.
I thought it was really cool, and you could see it in the way that he was interacting with his surroundings and in terms of the LED screen. There's a scene in the movie where he is outside looking at Adrian, the planet that that they visit, and in his helmet and his visor, you can actually see the green reflection. That is really hard to get in VFX and have it look natural and normal.
Yes.
And so that is the benefit of using those LED volumes and the practical set.
I love that so much. I think I've seen those, but I don't think I knew what they were called. So thank you so much for telling us about that. But the LED volumes, yeah, that was awesome. And yes, some of those details, like the reflections and things like that, were really amazing. Like it really helped put you in space with him. Like that was very impressive.
In the world. Yeah, there's again, seeing the alien ship and seeing that he was in space for
Yes.
the first time. Beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
But yeah, of course, I've got to get a shout out to the digital as well because they used Industrial Light and Magic, which did a lot of Star Wars stuff. They obviously had to be used in the weightless scenes. So they did use harnesses and wires, which Ryan has said many times in interviews. There's a special place in hell for these harnesses because they're very painful. I kind of hope as an actor that I do get to try it one day to see how horrible it is. But yeah, all the weightless scenes, of course, they did use, instead of CGI, they did use the harnesses and the tuning. There's a tuning fork rig, which is this pronged rig that can rotate actors. So I thought that was very cool as well. And of course, they had to use VFX to get rid of the puppeteers who were controlling Rocky. They, hey, who's that guy who's just whose hand is in the back of Rocky?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes, but there's always a place for VFX, and I'm not saying that you can't have a good movie with visual effects. I mean, Avatar is a good example.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Avatar movies. I am a big fan of James Cameron, and I know all the mocap stuff that they do. I love that. I auditioned for a lot of mocap stuff. I have not booked anything yet, but I really, really want to do it. I think I would be such a good fit for that kind of stuff. And I love the way James Cameron kind of talks about doing that and the way they kind of work it out. But Avatar is a film and a world that like needs motion capture and all of those effects
Yes.
because we're talking about things of scale, like actors that are different sizes, and some of those things you just can't do as believably in like a practical way. And I think the vast majority of directors out there would agree that anytime a practical effect is an option, they want to go for it. I think generally filmmakers really feel strongly about that. But all of these other kind of CGI, VFX, all of these other things, mocap, these are all different like tools that we have to build the vision of what we want. And it's great to know that in this film, in Project Hail Mary, that they did find ways to make it as realistic and as practical as possible. So that's awesome.
Yeah, well, and that's a good pivot to the last thing I want to mention about practical effects and the world, how it was made, is a cinematographer,
Mm.
Greg Fraser. He also did Dune and Rogue
Yes.
One, which are two of my favorites, but he actually used specific lighting tricks to make the astrophage glow so that it looked like it was physically in the room. And then the camera placement was important to him. They always wanted it to feel grounded, like you were in the spaceship with Ryland Grace. And so they always tried to keep it handheld whenever possible. So it felt very human. And then they also put the camera in places that you would feel like it would naturally be, not somewhere bizarre. The only time they really kind of didn't do that is when he's outside of the spaceship on Adrian and he's using that big collector
Mm-hmm.
inside the Petrova field or in Petrova line.
Yeah.
And you get that beautiful scene where it's all like the red dots,
Uh-huh.
astrophage floating around him. They're like, yeah, well, we put this camera outside off of the ship. So obviously there would not be a camera there. It was a little bit more fantasy, but I've seen this movie 3 times and I went back and watched it through that lens and they really do that.
Nice.
So yes, I get to nerd out about all
Yeah.
of that.
I
So,
love that. So, okay. I want to do this really fun thing with you, Rachel, because you have been geeking out and nerding out a lot. And I would like to see what you do if I give you 4 minutes, like the 4 years Ryland Grace was in a coma, to just spew as much as you can, as much as you know about the film, about science, about all of the stuff. All right? Take
All
a deep
right.
breath and go.
Okay, so 4 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to give you just some of my favorite bits. First, astrophage. Cool name, right? Well, it quite literally means star eater in ancient Greek. But it's not actually eating the sun like a snack. There's no mouth. It's just absorbing the thermal energy and storing it in its own body so it can expel to move. Scoot to toot, as Ryan put it. All right, so let's get a little nerdier and talk about gravity, the gravity on the ship, because I hate to say it, but it was the first thing that I Googled when I left the theater. Why the heck does Ryan have gravity when he wakes up, but then not when he gets to Tau Ceti? Well, there is no artificial gravity here. There is the equivalence principle. Very basically, the reason Ryan has gravity upon waking is because of acceleration. So think about it when you're in a car and someone slams on the gas. You're going to get pushed back into your seat, and that push is exactly what Ryland is feeling. The ship is slamming the gas so hard at 1.5 Gs that the floor is constantly pushing up against his feet. Or to make it a little bit more complicated, when he wakes up, he is actually decelerating at 1.5 Gs because the ship has turned around and the engines are pushing in reverse to slow down the ship because there are no brakes in space. So,
I love that.
to understand G-force, you got to think of your own weight. Right now, sitting in your chair.
I don't want to think of my weight. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're experiencing 1 G, Earth's gravity. But because he's feeling 1.5 Gs, he's actually feeling 50% more gravity than we do here on Earth. And you're not going to like this. Another way to put it, if Rylan weighs 150 pounds on Earth, he's waking up feeling like he weighs 225 pounds. So imagine trying to sit up when you suddenly weigh an extra 75 pounds. That would be pretty disorienting. And honestly, a recurring nightmare that I have. So he is feeling that extra gravity every second the engine is burning. But the second he reaches Tau Ceti, the engine stops, and so does the push. Boom. Weightless. And so, yeah, that's why they have the centrifuge thing, but we're not really going to get into that because they do a pretty good job of explaining that whole process in the movie, the spinning ship. But I do want to talk about why the heck Ryan Gosling's character doesn't seem to age. I know this caused some confusion out there. So early on in the film, the ship's computer tells Grace that he is roughly 12 light years from Earth. And so the message he wants to send is going to, go at the speed of light and take 12 years to arrive on Earth. Later, Grace mentions his return trip will only take him 4 years. Huh? How? No, it's not a plot hole. It's Einstein. So in physics, the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. So for the people back on Earth, the Hail Mary is bound by the standard laws of time. They got to sit through every grueling second of those 12 plus years for the ship to reach Tau Ceti. But for Grace, who's cruising at nearly the speed of light, time literally stretches. So his 4 years of ship time is actually 12 plus years of Earth time. So by the time Grace finishes his mission and his, the beetles, the little ships that go back with the Taumiba, that go back to Earth, nearly 27 years have passed for humanity, while Grace has only aged about 8-ish years total. So, good skincare routine. Okay, so I know I'm running out of time. Last two things,
10
little
seconds.
Easter egg. The scene where Rocky and Grace attempt to communicate through the Zeonite, Grace taps out the rhythmic sequence. It's familiar because it's the same 5-note motif from John Williams' score for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And there's one more thing. The Rocky identified his home system as 40 Eridani. Well, Star Trek nerds, that's the same star system where Vulcan lives or Vulcan planet is. So a little Easter egg there. But his Rocky's planet is 410 degrees Fahrenheit with ammonia, so I doubt we're going to get a crossover. So anyway, I guess they could chill in the bubble, but I did it. I almost did it.
You almost did it. Yes. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That's pretty good,
shit.
Rachel. That was a lot of information. And I interrupted you a few times because I was like, wow.
That's right. That's right.
I will take responsibility for 30 seconds. Awesome. That was great. Okay, so the other thing I really want to talk about is the other famous movie that was based off of an Andy Weir book, The Martian. Well, the basic premise of The Martian, if you are unfamiliar, is it starred Matt Damon as Mark Watney, who is left for dead on Mars after an exploratory mission goes awry, and he has to use scientific ingenuity to survive until a rescue mission finally gets to him. And I remember that movie, and I thought it was wonderful. I think one of the things that really worked for me in The Martian that didn't work for me in Project Hail Mary is that the genre felt very clear and straight, and I was in it, and I didn't get popped out because it didn't feel like it was trying to be something different. It was what it was, and I really liked the gravitas of the implications of this mission and the will to survive by Matt Damon's character, Mark. And yeah, so that was one thing that really pulled to me about it. What about you?
I love, yeah. I mean, I read The Martian before I saw the movie, and so I'm doing it in reverse this time. Saw Project Hail Mary, and now I'm going to go read the book. But I love Andy Weir's style. He is really good at what I have recently discovered is a thing called competence porn, where apparently people get off there's no sexual component to it or anything weird like that. Get your mind out of the gutter. But it's a thing where the primary hook or satisfaction comes from watching highly skilled people be incredibly good at their jobs. And it's like the thrill of problem solving. And I think he does that really well. So I obviously loved The Martian because that is all about that. He gets stranded, not on purpose, and has to figure out a way to survive on this hostile climate. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I think it's got a great cast, too.
Oh.
It's like a who's who. Everybody in Hollywood is in that movie.
I will say really quick about competence porn. To me, it sounds a lot like sapiosexuality. So in a way, there could be a sexual component to it. Doesn't have to. But sapiosexuality is, when you're attracted to competence, basically, when you're attracted to intelligence. And
I think that is
guess
me.
there's a very strong Venn diagram between the two, I would say. But yeah. Just wanted to throw that in there.
fascinating. And that actually makes a lot of sense why I would be into that, because I do find intelligence attractive. And is there a word for finding talent attractive?
I
Because
think
that
it
is
also goes under
also.
sapiosexual sexuality. It's like
Then
when
I
it's
am.
like competence, confidence, talent, intelligence. Yeah, all of those things.
So I am a sapiosexual because damn, yes, I think both
Yes.
characters, Ryland and Mark, are hot stuff. Not only physically, I mean, come on, it's Matt Damon and Ryan Gosling, and those glasses on Ryan. I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen him look hotter.
Yes, I do. I do. Well, I generally like glasses in general on men. I don't know why, but yes, he did look very good in glasses. I loved his like scruffy hair with the glasses. That was very cute.
But yeah, as far as comparing the two movies, they both hit it out of the park for their studios. The Martian by Fox made $630 million
Oof.
globally at the box office. Project Hail Mary currently stands at 517, so not quite as much. But I just read that it's coming back to IMAX for a couple weeks
Yeah.
because it got kicked out by the Mario movie, and now it's coming back. And so
Yeah.
it's gonna make a lot more money, I'm sure.
Absolutely. And did you read the Variety article where they're, extending the theatrical run, not letting it go to streamer because it's doing so well?
Yes.
I thought that was
Thank
amazing. And
you.
like, yeah, I was even having a hard time at my local theater, like trying to go see it because it's always sold out. And I'm like, this came out like a few weeks ago and it's still always sold out. So I mean, it's doing amazing in the box office.
They're killing it, and I guess that's good for Amazon MGM Studios. So this is actually the Amazon MGM Studios' biggest opening ever, with $80 million versus The Martian's 54 on opening weekend domestically.
Oh.
And get this is only the second non-sequel, non-franchise film in the past decade to debut above 80 million domestically. And the first
Wow.
is Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer's so good.
So it's in good company. It's in good company. But yeah, I can't believe
also,
that.
Given like COVID and the pandemic and everything, like people not going to movie theaters for a long time and now like just starting to like get back into it, it's an interesting phenomenon to kind of track how these box office openings are going and what people want to see in the theater and what they don't, since we have more options then. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't realize that when I was doing research for this. I was like, no way. The past decade, there's got to be other movies. Apparently not. It's the second to do it.
I mean, it is weird because the pandemic was 6 years ago now. So, like,
Yep.
more than half a decade ago.
Yep.
So there's many years, yeah, of no theater going. But yeah,
I'm glad we're back, and I'm glad they're extending the run because
yes.
I know it wasn't your favorite movie, but people are loving it. So
Yes, I am definitely in the minority. I'm happy to accept that. But yeah, I mean, I love
we all have
film.
those movies.
Yeah, I love film. Sometimes things just don't stick. That's the beauty of art. It's subjective. But yeah. And I think it's important to like call out things when it doesn't track, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
and so in this movie, for me, it was like, as I said, like daughter of immigrants, brown woman, like kind of a thing, like watching that whole language thing play out again. It's just like, oh, but not everybody's going to have that experience and have it so visceral. But it's important to talk about it because maybe filmmakers can be more mindful about moviegoer experiences and how kind of those things come off. And I love Ryan Gosling, so not saying stop casting Ryan Gosling, absolutely not. Love him. But also maybe Andy Weir can write a protagonist who's not a white man.
Oh my gosh. I would love to see Sterling K. Brown as a protagonist in an Andy Weir novel. Andy Weir, go right now. His third book is called Artemis.
Oh.
I should read that and be like,
Yeah.
is there a lead for Sterling K. Brown? Because I'm obsessed with Sterling K. Brown. I think he is a fantastic actor and would love to see that.
Also, I would love to see like a female, like female representation in sci-fi movies is like obnoxiously low. So, Andy Weir, I would love for you to write a book, a movie. Let's get some women in outer space and not just ones who die.
Yeah. Although I will say on The Martian, the captain, the commander was a woman. So, woo! Woo!
Yes, we're there. Out there, but the main character.
The main character. Yes. No, I see. I definitely see what you're saying. And Hollywood, you want to cast a science nerd?
Yeah.
To talk about gravity and G-forces.
Yeah, you should take this clip and put it into all your auditions.
Yeah, I volunteer as tribute. But yeah, I agree though. I know, and that is kind of one of our whole things with our podcast. We're gonna try to talk more about women-centric films, director, cinematographer, actors who hold the film and who carry the film.
Yeah.
And so the next couple episodes we're gonna do, I think we're gonna have to focus in on that energy because there are so many. And you're right about sci-fi being one of those genres that doesn't have as much of that. And women, hey, we can lead sci-fi.
Also, I think something from I want to say the Gina Davis Institute, they do a lot of statistics about representation and things like that. And representation for women and other minorities has been steadily decreasing since 2022, which really stinks.
Really?
Yeah, I think we hit a high in 2022. And then, the amount of lead female characters, the amount of how many lines females say in movies, all of that stuff, we were kind of getting to the point where it was getting higher. And then since then, it kind of just started dropping again. So, and of course, that was also when all the strikes started happening. And there's been other things that we've been contending against. But these are important things to talk about. And another reason to really amplify female voices and watch these movies, talk about these movies. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of lean into that. But of course, we're always going to talk about the things that we like. And I know how much this movie means to you and how much you love it. And, I love seeing you excited.
I like space. I'm a nerd. I like space. But yes, you know what? I'm going to go on a deep dive after we get done and find some sci-fi space movies that have female directors and female leads. I mean, we'll talk about aliens at some point.
Of course.
And Ripley, the strong character. But yeah, that's actually an excellent point. And Andy Weir, come on, man. There's the Andy Weir effect. The Andy Weir effect can be ladies too.
Yeah.
So I want to pivot now because we were talking Mark and Grace Ryland. And so I want to get into the extra segment.
Extra.
Would you rather and quick questions. And I believe you have some questions for me and I have some questions for you. So the one I want to start off with is, would you rather be stranded on Mars with Matt Damon or 12 light years away in a spaceship with Ryan Gosling?
Okay, Matt Damon and Ryan Gosling are different
than their characters.
Mark and Ryland.
Yes. So, yes, true. Okay.
So I'm gonna answer both. I'm gonna say I would rather be stranded in the spaceship with Ryan Gosling, but I would rather be stranded on Mars with Mark.
Yes. I love that.
Mark,
same answer.
Same answer? Okay.
Same answer. Yep. No contest. I'm sorry, Matt Damon. I'm sure you're a lovely person, but I love Ryan Gosling. We already covered this.
Yes. Matt Damon is one of my all-time favorite actors ever. So it was very difficult for me to come to this conclusion, Matt. I just want you to know.
I think that I would laugh a lot more with Ryan Gosling.
I think I would too.
So, all right, you got a question for me?
I do. All right. Would you, especially being a science nerd, would you rather produce an epic sci-fi space odyssey where you get to really get into all the nitty-gritty, or would you rather act in the sci-fi space odyssey?
Oh, God, that's a good question because I love to be in control. We've already covered this many times. And with my use of love of practical effects, being able to choose all of those things, I would love that. But I'm an actor, hands down, right? That's my first love. Actor, boom. Actor in a sci-fi film. That's what I would choose if it was one of the two. How about you?
Love it. Oh, yeah, definitely acting. I hate producing. I'm kind of good at it, but I don't do it anymore.
Oh, girl.
I might do a little bit for some of my own projects here and there, but yeah, it's too stressful. Producing is very stressful. And I'm like, if I am going to be under this much stress, I want to act because that is the only thing that gives me as much joy as stress.
Yeah, it's can I produce if I cast myself?
Yeah, of course. Of course. You can produce your own
Yeah.
stuff, absolutely.
Yes. Yes. So both.
Alright.
All right. So here's my next question for you. You have to spend the next 4 years in a coma, but you wake up a hero trying to save Earth, or you stay on Earth and watch the sun go out. Hero or stranded on Earth watching the sun go out. But you have
Okay.
to be in a coma.
I think if I woke up in that position feeling like weird and being in outer space and not knowing who I was or why I was there, with the way my mind works, I probably would just kill myself. If I remembered that there was a problem and I needed to save Earth, maybe not, but I got the impression that when he first woke up, he didn't even remember that part.
No.
So if I woke up in that condition, yeah, I might just be like, oh my God, and I'm on this ship with 2 dead bodies and I have extreme claustrophobia and I'm out in outer space. I might just die from a panic attack, first of all, or I might just die. And that's kind of dark, I know, but I'm just being honest. That was going through my head while I was watching the opening, which is probably another reason why I didn't like the opening.
I guess that makes sense. No, that makes sense. Like I said, I love space movies and stuff, but people are like, well, why didn't you want to be an astronaut or something? I'm like, I'm so claustrophobic. Anytime I watch a scene where they're in the launch capsule and they're strapped down in the spacesuit, I do have a panic attack. It freaks me the hell out. And so, nope, I keep my feet right here on the ground, but I definitely understand that.
I don't know if I would find it beautiful or if I would just be like, I can just be like, I gotta put myself out of this misery. No one's coming to save me. Like, I gotta go.
Well, there's heroin on that ship somewhere because they cover that. They're like, what did Oleska wanted to? She wanted to go out with a lethal dose of heroin and something. I don't know. It's great comedy.
Hilarious.
So
I have a question.
yeah,
Okay, would you, and I think I know the answer to this based on what we were just talking about, but still, would you rather be forced onto a spaceship to save the world, or would you rather be the one doing the forcing?
yeah, we did kind of cover this. I would like to be the one doing the forcing because nobody wants to be the one who is forced to save the ship. It is one of those things, though. Would you want to be the hero of like save humanity? There's lots of films that kind of go into that really well, a lot of the asteroid ones. But I would like to be the one making the decisions. Ava Straut's character was badass. I would like to be her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ava Straut was so awesome. She really was such a cool character. Yeah, I would like to say that I would rather be the one doing the forcing because who wants to be forced? But the real truth is I'm not very good at forcing people to do what I want. So I think I would probably be more effective if I were forced into it. But again, I think forcing me into it wouldn't be a matter of like chasing me down and sedating me. I think it would be more like talking to me about integrity and greater good and like really like appealing to that sense of justice that I have. And then I would be like, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it for the world.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm gonna keep it on the darker side here with my last question.
Ooh, okay.
So we talked a little bit about time dilation and how much
Mhm.
time has passed between the mission and how much has gone on, how much time has passed on Earth. And there's no guarantee that those beetles are getting back with the Taumiba.
Mhm.
So my question is, would you stay on Rocky's planet in your cute little terrarium bubble with the Iridians and no other humans, though, or go back home to Earth knowing that 30 plus years have passed and you really don't know what the state of humanity is?
So you're saying that the little satellite things, like you sent them off, but you don't know if they got there. So once you make sure Rocky's safe, would you go back after that?
Yes. So, in the end of the movie,
Yes.
he ends up on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you stay on, because Ryan kind of stays.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. He stays to hang out with the Iridians longer instead of going back to Earth right away. And there's kind of ambiguity of whether he ever goes back to Earth. Would you stay on Eridani or would you go back home to Earth?
I would probably stay for a little bit, but I would probably go back to Earth because I have so many people and community that I love that I miss. Ryland Grace's character didn't have a lot of community or connection. He was like kind of a lonely person, and Rocky was his like new best friend, so it kind of made sense. But for me, I'm different, uh, you know?
Now remember, 30 years have passed.
Yeah, so, like, my dog probably wouldn't be alive, which would be really sad. But, my partners probably would be alive.
From
My
now,
friends.
hopefully we were alive in 30 years from now. But remember, you're like 8 years older and they're 30 years older. But again, that doesn't matter when it's friendship or love.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting thought experiment.
Yeah, how about you?
I love love, and I'm like, I'm not gonna mate with an Iridian. Like, I still want a partner and love and shit. So I would go back to Earth because I'm still gonna be looking good, looking fine. So there'd be a
Get it,
whole
girl.
a whole new generation of men or
Yeah.
ladies or whatever to see what's up on Earth. Hopefully. Again, hopefully.
Yeah, and, like, as a hero, oh my gosh, you would get so much attention.
Yes. And you know what? I would hope that the Iridians have some technology where they could like listen in. Like, again, I don't know. It's still like 12 light years away, so maybe not. What they would have to do is they'd have to push like their telescope or whatever they have positioning towards Earth and listen for information coming in, radio waves, but all the radio waves they would be getting would be ones coming from the past because how long it travels.
It takes so long to travel, yeah.
So that's tricky. I'd be like, hey, can you give me a really good ship where if I arrive on Earth and it's all fucking shit, I can be like, bye, peace out, y'all.
I'm going back. Going back.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Like, let's go on a vacation with your ship because it's real nice. Anyway,
speaking of Rocky and Rocky's Planet, what is your favorite Rocky line?
Oh, bump my fist. I loved that.
Or fist my bump.
It's my bump. What did I say?
You said bump my fist.
That's the right way. Fist my bump. All right, take it back. My favorite Rocky line is fist my bump.
It's so good. So
I got a dirty mind, and that's like,
oh my gosh,
dirty humor. Dirty humor.
I really like the line. He's like, Amaze, Amaze, Amaze. It's really cute. And then I also like the way he like taps his foot when he says question. So he'd be like, are we going to get there? Question.
He's like, listen to me.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah. Every time he says question, he also goes, and it's just really cute. He's like, do you like me? Question. And he just taps his front foot. It's just so cute.
I've seen this movie 3 times and I never noticed that. That is an amazing detail that you picked up. I love it.
Yes. He does not do it when he starts saying statement. So it's only when he asks a question. It's great.
Only when he asks the question. Yeah. All right. Well, last question I have for you. For Ryan Gosling / Ryland Grace, what is sexier, the glasses or the spacesuit?
It's got to be the glasses for me. I love glasses.
Yep. Same. Well, I didn't know I loved glasses. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm trying to think if. Oh yeah, I guess I can't think of other examples, but yeah, definitely put those on as like.
Yeah, especially if it's like somebody who doesn't always wear glasses, and then all of a sudden you see them with glasses, you're like, whoa,
and it's not the Superman effect. It's the opposite. Put the glasses on, baby.
Right.
Then you're sexy. Without them, ew, Superman, gross. Ryan Gosling without glasses, nasty.
We would never say that.
No.
Shall we get into our final thoughts then?
Yes, final thoughts is a good way to go. So I feel like I should start off because I loved the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by saying I did. I love this movie so much. And it took me on a roller coaster of suspense, glee, heartbreak. I literally did that laugh, cry thing in the theater and cry thing. But as a film nerd, I loved the cinematography and the practical effects and the filmmaking. But as a science geek, I, of course, was obsessed with all of the physics details that they kept in. But the reason that this film works so well for me is that it's not actually about the science. It's not actually about the filmmaking. It is about the soul. And as an actor, I have got to talk about Ryan Gosling. He's always been a favorite of mine, clearly. We've talked about that. And his deadpan timing is great, and his incredible ability to communicate so much non-verbally is great. And this film nails the portrayal of a deeply flawed human. And for the most of the movie, we see him as this funny, brilliant hero saving humanity. But then, of course, the gut punch comes in when his memory returns and he realizes he only became that hero because he forgot he was a coward. He didn't volunteer. He didn't want to die for Earth. He was forced, drugged, and locked on that ship while his crewmates, the real heroes, they died. And while I suspected that was kind of going to be the arc, the whole sacrifice himself for the greater good thing, and him not wanting to do that, it really hit hard watching that end scene where she was forcing him onto that ship. But I feel like we really needed to see him at that low point to understand the lesson he eventually learns, that you just have to have someone to be brave for. And in case of me, it would be the planet. I feel like that's a good reason to be brave, but he did not have that. But then when he realizes Rocky is in trouble, I mean, he could go back to Earth. He's got the fuel. Everybody's going to think he's a hero, but he can't because he had that connection and that person or that that alien. He had the thing to be brave for. So he turns the ship around. And it's likely the first truly brave choice that he's ever made. I mean, really, he doesn't know if Rocky's alive. I mean, he doesn't know if he's going to end up stranded in the dark. He could get to the ship. Rocky could be dead. He's going to be stranded yet again out in space, but he makes that choice. So he goes from a man who wouldn't die for his own species, for his own planet, to a man willing to die for a different one. And I thought it was such a beautiful full circle story of redemption, of love, of friendship. And it was all packaged in this heartwarming, fun adventure with the disaster films. And I've already seen it 3 times, clearly. So I thought it was a masterpiece, and I immediately bought the book.
I love it. Final thoughts for me. Project Hail Mary was good. It was fine. It was fun. You know, a lot of people love it. You love it. But yeah, for me, I just kept popping in and out of it. You know, Ryan's acting was amazing. James Ortiz's acting was amazing as Rocky. But yeah, there was just certain character development things that just really bothered me. Ryland Grace's character was not my favorite. I always feel annoyed when the only time the other is accepted by humans, humanity, is when the other is like this innocent, harmless, cutesy kind of character. If Rocky were like a scary alien, I do not think that Grace would have befriended him. I think more likely Grace would have tried to kill him, because that's what humans do. They decimate what they fear or don't understand. And it was also painful for me to watch yet another white man make someone else learn his language. As someone who speaks 4 languages, that kind of stuff really gets on my nerves. And at the climate that we have right now, where our country is really suffering a lot from being kind of closed-minded, it's really frustrating to see these kinds of small details go, I don't know, just it seems insensitive, as usual. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing. But yeah, there was just something very condescending about some of the moments where like Rocky is like kind of this like cutesy, young feeling character, and Ryland Grace was, I don't know, it just felt kind of condescending. Because other species are probably far more advanced than we are. And I just really hate how humans are constantly assuming that we are better, smarter, more worthy than everyone else on this planet. And ever since I was a little girl, I've been very, very, critical of that kind of feeling. And this movie, there were just moments where, in favor of making the audience have fun and, making Rocky, cute and lovable, they risked this concept of kind of going into this world where humans are the smart ones and they figure things out and they're the brave ones, and I was like, I don't like it. I want to see one where the aliens lead the way, because honestly that's probably how it would really work. Also, to go back to some technical things, I know a lot of people enjoyed the genre bending kind of stuff, it's a sci-fi thriller and it's kind of a buddy comedy. For me, it kind of kept pulling me out. I wanted it to be a little bit more serious. I think I wanted it to be a little bit more thriller with the jokes and stuff in there, but not so much. And so I couldn't figure out what it was, and that kept pulling me out. The pacing was a little weird. Act breaks felt like they were in the wrong place. Act 1 and the first part of Act 2 took so long, and then suddenly second part of Act 2 and Act 3 was just like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then he had to make this decision, and then all of a sudden he changed, and then he did this, and then he did this, and then now he's on this planet, and then he did this, and then he did this, and now we're done. And I was like, what? Because the first part of the movie took so long.
It was
Kind of crazy. But you know what? I will say it was fun. I had a good time. It's worth a movie ticket. Go check it out for yourself. You know, this is a phenomenon. People are loving it. Make your own choices.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with art. And I'm always looking forward to our spicy episodes where
we disagree.
Yeah, we're disagreeing because if we're both like, oh my god, I love this movie, it might not be as interesting if as it might not be as interesting as the ones where one of us loves it and the other one's like,
yeah,
because that's art, man. That's
art. Yeah, and I think it's also important because as artists, people are gonna receive our art in the same subjective manner. So,
ain't that the truth?
I think it's good to flex that muscle in both directions. So, I think on that note, that officially concludes our mission. Honestly, I'm just relieved that we survived the emotional damage.
Yeah, seriously. So thank you all for geeking out with us today. This movie really did remind me why I fell in love with sci-fi movies in the first place. I could talk about Ryland and Rocky for another 12 light years. So I'm going to spare you that for now.
Thank goodness. I'm just kidding. If you enjoyed the ride, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review. You know the drill. It is the best way to help our little corner of the galaxy grow. And if you want to hear the unfiltered takes that we couldn't fit into this hour, including more of Rachel's Ryan Gosling in Glasses appreciation, please head over to our Patreon for some exclusive bonus content.
What was your favorite Amaze moment? And more importantly, who is your favorite space buddy of all time? Let's keep this conversation going at Instagram or TikTok at Real Extra Commentary.
Until next time, stay real.
And stay extra.
Fist my bump!
Fist my bump!